Our next inductee manned the dugout for 19 seasons as an Eagle. He is the program's all-time leader in games won. His 665 career victories are second most all-time in Big South history, and he ranks second all-time in Big South victories with 161. Under his watch, the Eagles captured 3 Big South championships, appeared in 5 NCAA regionals, produced over 65 all-conference selections that included nearly 30 All-Americans and 9 freshman All-American selections. It's pretty impressive. The 3-time Big South Coach of the Year led the Eagles to 640 win seasons, which are second most by any coach in league history. He was named the head coach for the Big South Conference All-Decade team from 2000 to 2009, and tonight we'll join 6 of his players that are already members of the Winthrop Hall of Fame. 6. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome Joe Hudak into the Winthrop Athletics Hall of Fame.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate those kind words. And my daughter Logan recommended that as I walked up to the podium that I should use the same pace that I did when I walked out to the mound to make a pitching visit. And any of you guys that were at any of our games, you know what she's talking about. And I'm going to try to be a little quicker tonight. You know, Brett Redden sent me an email and said, try to keep your comments to about 5 minutes. And I sent him an email back right away and said, good luck with that. I think in my entire lifetime, talking about baseball, I've never been able to talk just for 5 minutes at all. And so I'm going to try to do a better job tonight. I was really worried about how long it would take until I got here. And I must have had 5 people, including Ken, you know, who said, are you going to talk as long as Pa Sapanko talked last year? 48 minutes, Paz. Where are you, bud? Yeah, 48 minutes. You know, I'm glad that I got 3 young athletes here. They probably won't talk too long, but then we got Ann and Vernon. I'm not worried about Ann, but I'm worried about Vernon. You know, and the other thing, I got 19 years to cover. You know, that's a long time, but I'm going to do the best I can to be quick. First thing I want to do is congratulate the other inductees. Well done, well deserved. Appreciate Ken, gotten to know him, as he said, great guy. I'm excited for Winthrop's athletics, and I'd be remiss if I didn't thank some other people. I got to thank former athletic directors Steve Visendak and Tom Hickman, my good friend. I got to thank President Anthony DeGiorgio for back in 1991. They gave me the chance to be just the 2nd baseball coach in Winthrop history. And I'm very excited tonight to be going into the Hall of Fame to join the 1st baseball coach in Winthrop history, Coach Horace Turbeville, my good friend. And I'm particularly excited to be going in with my good friends Ann and Vernon tonight. And when Mark Cook called me and told me I was being inducted, and by the way, it was appropriate that Mark called me. Mark was the first person from Winthrop I ever talked to. I was coaching at Mississippi State. I had applied for the job back in '91, and Mark was on the search committee, and he's the guy that called and did my phone interview. And he's the first guy that I talked with. And I guess, Mark, you're the reason I'm here tonight. All right? I mean, if you'd have given me a bad recommendation, I wouldn't be here tonight. So, and Mark asked to make that call to tell me, and I appreciate that, Mark. I appreciate you. And you can imagine when he called the flood of memories that came back over 19 years. And there's no way that I can share all of them with you tonight. And if I tried, even my kids would get up and leave at some point. But there are some. There were some things that came to mind, some games and players that came to mind that I just want to take a minute to share that probably were, you know, the highlights of the 19 years. First thing that comes to mind, February 21st, 1995. You know, we went down to Tallahassee, play Florida State, and we were a little Winthrop College at the time, and Florida State was ranked #1 in the country. And I can remember, and we got some of the guys that are here tonight, I can remember telling them before the game that we had a chance to shock the world of college baseball. And we did. We beat Florida State 2-1. 11 innings. Jeremy Keller hit a home run in the top of the 11th, and we won 2-1, and Jeremy's here tonight. And then a couple of months after that, we played in our first regional, played at Clemson. And first day we beat Alabama 4-0. Brian Link shut them out on 4 hits. And then we're playing, the next game we're playing Richmond. And we're losing to Richmond 8-4. Bottom of the 8th inning, we got the bases loaded, we got 2 outs. Jeremy Keller comes up again. And Jeremy hits a line drive double to center field, drove in all 3 runs, made it 8-7. Next batter was Travis Hollingsworth. Now you got to understand, Travis lived in Greenville, and we're playing at Clemson, right? And so he's a hometown boy. He's got, in his backyard, he's got family and friends there, and Travis is up, and he works the count to 3-2, and I don't know, Travis had to foul off 8 pitches, I think, in a row, just trying to stay alive, and then hit a bomb, right? And we won 9-8 over Richmond there, and it's great to have Travis back tonight as well. And then you got to fast forward to 1999. We played a regional in Auburn, and you know, we're playing Tulane. They were the #1 team. We were the #4 seed. We're losing 6-3, top of the 9th. We got 2 guys on, 2 outs, 2 strikes. So we're down to our last strike, right? And Jason Tarasuik, our senior shortstop, got a single to left, right? Scored a run. And then right after him, Todd Friedman, freshman outfielder from New Jersey. All right, got a double in the right center field gap. Tied that game 6-6. We got them out in the bottom of the 6th. They scored a run, or bottom of the 9th. They scored a run in the top of the, we scored a run on the top of the 10th. They scored a run on the bottom of the 10th. Top of the 11th, we came back around. Jason Tarasuik came up again and hit a laser over the right field wall. We won that game 8-7 in 11 innings, and Jason's here tonight. You go a little bit further, and you don't need to clap for him. He doesn't need to be clapped for, right? We'll wait to clap later on, all right? We go ahead to May 28th, 2005. But before I get to that, I want to talk about the 2001 season. I had a hard time finding one game in the 2001 season to talk about. In that year, we swept Kentucky a 2-game series. We swept Florida a 2-game series. We beat Indiana, Alabama, North Carolina State, North Carolina, Clemson, and Georgia that year. Final record was 48-16, best record that Winthrop's had at the Division I level. We finished 2nd in the East Carolina Regional, and we were ranked 24th in the final Baseball America poll. And we got 4 guys from that team here tonight: Stosh Wardzuski, Todd Friedman, Jason Colson, and Jordan Webb. Thank you guys for coming back. Then we go to May 28th, 1995. This is one of my favorite times. We're in the Big South tournament, right? We're playing at Coastal Carolina. You know how much we love Coastal Carolina, right? And we're playing in the Big South championship game, right? Winner take all, loser goes home. We're tied 7-7 in the top of the 9th inning. And we get the first 2 guys on. Ben Ehrlich comes up. Ben hits a laser down the right field line, drive in 2 runs. Next batter was Chris Carrera, Goose, all right? And Goose hit a bomb. And we ended up beating them 13-7 in that game, and we won the Big South Championship. And I know you can imagine that we didn't really enjoy dogpiling on Coastal's field after winning the championship. But, you know, both Ben and Chris are here tonight. And then last game I'll tell you about, June 3rd, 2005. We're just a week later. We're playing at the NCAA Regional in Knoxville, right? And we're playing Wichita State. And Wichita State had a pitcher. His name was Mike Pelfrey. He was a 9th pick in the first round of the draft that year. And he was a monster, 6'7". He threw 94 to 97. I mean, it was like he was handing the ball to the catcher, right? And so we're playing them, and I can remember in the first inning, Daniel Cart hit a bomb over the scoreboard off of Pelfrey. And then in the bottom of the 8th, Mike Hauntz scored a winning run from second base on a single by Tommy Lentz. And Daniel and Mike's back there. Mike, you can look at Mike now. You know, he actually could run back then. But he scored the winning run. You know, both those guys are here tonight. And you know, I could go on and on, all right, about memories that were created during those 19 years, but I got to move on. You guys know when you go to a ball game, you know, at the end of each half inning, you know how the PA announcer comes on and he says, kind of gives a recap of each inning, you know, and you know, maybe in the bottom of the sixth, the Eagles had 2 runs on 4 hits and no errors. You know, we all have heard that going to a ball game, and I think if we could have a PA announcer that could give a recap of my career here at Winthrop, and if he were honest, this is what he would say. You know, at the end of Joe Hudak's career, he had no hits. Didn't get a hit. He had no runs, never scored a run. He threw no pitches, but he made a lot of errors. All right? That would be my recap of my career, because I'm standing before you tonight, not because of me, but because of the accomplishments of others. And I want to take a few minutes just to recognize and thank them. And the first group I want to thank are my coaches, my assistant coach. You got 2 guys that couldn't be here tonight I want to recognize. Gary Murphy was my first assistant coach. Yeah. You know, Murph had coached with me as a graduate assistant when I was at Mississippi State, and we became good friends, and he said, hey, if you ever get a head job, I'd love to work with you. Right? And so when I got the job at Winthrop, I called Murph. I said, Murph, I got good news and bad news. Right? I got good news. The good news is I just got the job at Winthrop. I want you to come and be my assistant coach. I said, the bad news is I don't have any money to pay you. All right? You guys know. There's my guy. You guys know. All right? But Murph and his wife, Melissa, packed up, and they came, and he helped me build this program. And the other guy that couldn't be here tonight is Kyle DeEduardo. A lot of you guys know D. D coached with me for 7 years. He's in business now. He's out of town. But he was here and did a great job, and I appreciate him. But we do have some coaches here tonight. I want to recognize them. I want you to stand right when I call your name. Just stay standing, and we'll let them clap for you if they want to after everybody's standing. First guy just coached with me for 1 year, Tim Perry. Now, stand up and stay standing. We're gonna hold our applause for them. Don't clap. Next guy coached for me with 2 years, Dwight Hoddle, former player. Stay standing. Stay standing. 3 years, coached with me for 3 years, Jason Murray. Don't clap. Coached with me for 3 years. They didn't listen to me back then. They still don't listen to me. 3 years, former player Jeremy Keller. 3 years, coached with me, Scott Forbes. The guy that coached with me for 5 years, and I had to put up with him 2 other years as a player, that's Stosh Swirzewski. I got a guy here that didn't coach with me for 7 years, but he was with me for 7 years. And he was way more important than these assistant coaches that were standing. To be honest with you, he's way more important than me. All right? And that's our trainer, my good buddy Trent O'Neill, who was our trainer for 7 years. I'm going to let you clap for Trent. Trent and his wife Lexi just got back from serving as 2 years as missionaries in Africa. So really happy to have you here. The last coach, my right-hand man, for 11 of the 19 years, 377 of those whatever wins, he was here with me. And he's now the head coach at Morehead State in Kentucky. He drove here, even though today was the first day of practice. He missed practice so he could be here tonight. Means a lot to Mike McGuire. I got one more guy I got to mention. He didn't coach with me. He didn't do wasn't a trainer, but we worked together for 15 years. A dear friend, the voice of Winthrop baseball, Scott Neisler. Stand, Scott. Hey, now we can clap, okay? Now you guys can sit down. I don't care how good of a coach you are, how good of a coaching staff you have, you can't win games without good players. And I'm here tonight because of the guys that are in the back here, the guys that played for me. And I want to thank them and recognize them. And truly, don't clap because I'm going to go really fast because Ken's already told me that he's got the hook out at some point if I go too long. So, guys, I'm going to start from the most recent and go to the old guys, okay? And I'm just going to go as quick as I can. 2007 and 2008, Ryan Schwartz. Stand. Hey, stand, and stay standing. 2006, 2007, Kellen Taylor. 2004, 2007, Chris Carrera. Jonathan Settle. 2003 to 2007, Mike Hauntz. Mike was here for 5 years. Mike was on the 5-year plan. He actually got hurt and redshirted. It wasn't his fault. But 2005, 2006, Heath Rollins. 2003, 2006, Matt Repick, Alan Robbins, Ben Ehrlich, Chase Edwards. 2003 to 2005, Daniel Cart. 2003 to 2004, I got a shout out to Grant Niedenfuhrer. Grant came all the way from Texas to be here tonight. Thanks, Grant. 2001, 2002, Stosh Wardzuski. 1999 to 2002, Todd Friedman. 98 to 2001, Jordan Webb. 98 to 2001, Jason Colson. 96 to 99, the man in that regional in 99, Jason Tarasuik. Came all the way from Massachusetts. 93 to 96, Jeremy Keller. 94 to 95, the hero of that Richmond game, Travis Hollingsworth. 93 to 94, Paul Rico, Blue Springs, Missouri. 92 to 94, my boy, Stuart Cook. 92 to 94, my other boy, Ron Knox. 91 and 94, we're getting way down there now, Hayward Bracey. Come on, Hayward, 91 and 94, pay attention. And the old man, 1990 to 1993, Dwight Hoddle. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. Next, I gotta thank my kids, right? Now, those are my boys, right? But these are my kids. They grew up in the Winthrop Coliseum and on the Winthrop ballpark. Coach Cook and I were talking about that a little bit ago. And you know, when I came to Winthrop, I was 41 and single and thinking maybe the Lord didn't have it for me to have kids. You know, I was getting a little nervous, right? But fortunately, he blessed me with 3 great kids. Very proud of all 3 of them. And I want to thank them, and that's my daughter, Logan. Really, really. My son, Preston. And my daughter, Callie. I'm almost done. Okay? I'm not even coming close to you, Gaff. You don't have to worry. Next person I need to thank is my mom, Betty Hudak. My mom this past September celebrated her 92nd birthday. It's okay if I tell them how old you are, isn't it? She's like me, she can't hear. What do you say? What do you say? I don't know. Listen, I can remember as a boy, a young boy, 7, 8 years old. You know, I loved playing ball. And I was a shortstop and a pitcher, right? And when my dad was working, you know, my mom would get out in the backyard and she'd catch me, you know. And I didn't throw too hard, so she'd catch me, you know. And I started growing a little bit, you know. And I started throwing a little harder. And she started struggling, you know, catching me. And she was catching them with her knees and her elbows and her shins. And most moms would have quit. They would have said, Joe, I just can't do it anymore. You got to find somebody else. Not Betty Hudak. Betty Hudak went in the house. 5 minutes later, she'd come out wearing a full set of catcher's equipment. I'm telling you the truth. She had the mask on. She had the chest protector. She had shin guards, and she's down there catching me. Thanks for that, Mom. More importantly than that, my mom is the main reason I stand before you tonight as a Christian man. My mom's faith, her prayers, her encouragement is the main reason why I'm a man of God tonight. So thanks for that, Mom. Appreciate it. Next to last is my dad. I got an empty seat here at my table. My dad, Joe Hudak Sr., coached me from the time that I was 8 in summer ball all the way to 18, every summer. Little League, Colt League, Pony League, American Legion. My dad gave me the greatest gift that any of you can give your kids, and that's his time. And many of you know that my dad died on my ball field here at Winthrop. Okay? February 21st, 1992, I had arranged for him to throw out the first pitch the next day to my first home game at Winthrop. And my dad loved taking care of the field, right? Loved. Anywhere I coached, he loved taking care of the field. And he was riding a tractor, cutting grass out in right field. I can show you where it was. And he had a heart attack and died. And you know, a lot of people think, man, that's such a sad story, and it is. Obviously, it was. You know, I miss him even right now. But I can tell you this: if my dad could have written a script on how the Lord would call him out of this world, it would either be on the golf course or on my ball field. And so he got to do that. And just one side note to that: I remember when Dad passed away, and we were over at my house. Making arrangements. And 3 of my guys, my boys, Stuart Cook, Ron Knox, Hayward Bracey, they came over and just told me how sorry they were. And I appreciated that, boys, more than you'll ever know. So thanks, Dad. Finally, my last person I need to thank, and certainly most important, that's my Heavenly Father. Okay. That's my Heavenly Father. I gave my life to Christ when I was 16 years old. Best decision I ever made. Best. Doesn't mean I'm perfect at all, certainly. I mean, my boys, my kids, and my coaches, I mean, they can tell you firsthand that I'm far from perfect, right? Doesn't mean life's easy either, right? Doesn't mean life's easy because you're a Christian, you give your life to Christ. You know, sometimes life throws you a curveball, doesn't it? Right? Sometimes, occasionally, it'll even throw you a nasty slider down and away that you just flat out can't hit. And I can tell you that from experience, that life, it's thrown me that. And I can tell you during those times, the thing that has helped me get through those times and encouraged me is my relationship to Christ. And I would encourage my boys and my kids and all of you to come to the conclusion I came to, that at the end of the time, at the end of the day, when your life's over and God calls you out of this world, there's only one thing that's going to matter, right? And it's not going to be how many games you won. It's not going to be how much money you made. Not going to be what kind of house you lived in. The only thing that's going to matter are your relationships. Relationships with your friends, with your family, and with your Heavenly Father. And I think it's pretty appropriate that I close my comments tonight with some words from the closer of our 1999 team, that team that when Tara Suick hit that home run. Aaron Sunsmo was our closer. Right? He actually got to win that game. We won't talk about the home run he gave up in the bottom of the 10th, right, to get to the 11th, but he got that win, right? And Aaron couldn't be here tonight. Aaron, his wife Carly, and their 2 boys are serving over in Sri Lanka with an organization called Plan International. It's a nonprofit that supports children's rights all over the world. And Aaron sent me an email and saying, hey, Coach, I can't make it. But he wrote these words, and I think it's appropriate for me to close with them. He said, Aaron says, Coach, so wonderful to see that you are able to bring your passions of serving Christ, mentoring young men, and playing baseball together. He said, so many people never get to live out their passions. It's so wonderful to hear that you're living yours. I appreciate this honor so much. God bless you.